This is probably my favorite one because I love Talonflame, but Talonflame has been in a little bit of an unplayable spot ever since they reworked the fly cooldown. And I've always thought Brave Bird's cooldown was way too long. And look at what they've done. They've reduced the cooldown of Brave Bird by 1.5 seconds. Okay, patch 1.9.1.2. This is from Unite DB. If you are not comfortable with Unite DB or you haven't checked it out, go and have a look at it and learn it. You're going to learn a lot about the meta and about the game in general. It's a really amazing resource. So this is where these patch notes are from. First things first, Pokemon Day says some events. There is Boss Rush. That is a lot of fun. Emblems. There's some update on emblems. You guys know how I feel about them. I don't think they're the be-all and end-all. There is a lot more things that you should probably be focusing on, like how characters are played and how you face into different characters. Emblems make a very small difference, and someone from the math court is going to come up with the optimal emblem build. So, you know, you can just copy and paste those as are. But I think just having a generic build, but it's cool that they are adding some more. Items. This is very cool. This is very cool that we're getting an update here. So we've got special attack with the Slick Spoon. Now this I think is kind of cool because you get a little bit of a HP and a special attack, which we don't really have that with a special attack item. And you ignore 20% of a Pokemon's special defense when you're hitting them with special damage. So it's kind of like a different way of, I guess, delivering damage just based on the calculations. I might make a different video about the calculations of how moves do damage. That's probably more of a complex topic. But I think this is definitely a special attack item that is probably going to be a pretty good choice. Next up, we've got the Rescue Hood. I don't think the Rescue Hood is really going to be doing, a lot of work here. So I think we'll see how this unfolds, but it's cool to have an item. So what it's really doing is it just increases the healing and the shield values. So kind of cool. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it gets used competitively because it's just nice to have more options and flexibility. And then we've got our new Pokemon Zacian. Yippee. This is going to shift the meta. I can't wait to play it and check it out when I get a bit of time. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, let's have a look at the buffs and the nerfs and all the good stuff. So Delphox. Now, I love reading these. These are super fun. You should have a look at the devs' comments. Some of them are pretty funny. But let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. We've got Mystical Fire. Big nerf here. Absolutely massive nerf. Have a look at the base damage difference. That's huge. That's a pretty big drop. Also the amount per level, and then the scaling has gone down as well. So pretty big nerf for Mystical Fire. But in saying that, there's a pretty big buff for Fire Blast. So you can, that's a nice buff. So this is a big buff for Fire Blast. And I think Fire Blast, I've seen people run it prior to this patch and they do really well. So it's going to be a little scary because I don't think Delphox is necessarily being nerfed. It just means that you might want to play the Fire Blast build instead. And it's been buffed quite significantly because it's buffed at the level 7 and then at the level 11, I believe it is, upgrade. Flame Charge is being nerfed. That was due. Gardevoir. Now this has really confused me. I didn't think Gardevoir was dominating the meta as much as it was, but it clearly is. Maybe because there's a lot of group stuff, not sure. But big nerfs to Gardevoir, not as strong. Whatever. Espeon. Espeon has probably won the patch, and they say it right here. Espeon is the huge winner of this patch. This is absolutely amazing. Right, look at, there's so many things, so I'm just going to break it down. First things first, you've got the ability. The ability has got a big buff. Okay, it doesn't seem like it, but the anticipation and magic bounce ability is really solid on Espeon, and so getting on a cooldown sooner just means that you're going to be having it a lot more frequently in the game, and that's going to be really helpful at some of those engages. The attacks have been buffed, which is great. Swift has been buffed, so his early is stronger, which means that you're going to be able to do better in lane with the Pokemon, which is really cool. They've also buffed Psyshock, which is pretty nice. Okay, it's pretty nice. It's absolutely fantastic. Okay, next up we have got Tyranitar. Now, I'm going to have to make an apology video on Tyranitar. I've changed my mind. Tyranitar's good, but it's not S tier. So, before I was saying Tyranitar is an F, Tyranitar sucked. I changed my mind. I think Tyranitar's probably up at your A tier. And I still think so after some of these nerfs. Because, although Dark Pulse has had a bit of a downgrade, it's not really huge. It's not a big downgrade. I don't think it's a very big downgrade. But in saying that, Stone Edge, which is his alternative move, has got a buff. So similar to Delphox, where you might just be seeing a switch in the move. Okay, a Tyranitar guide will be coming soon. Because I've changed my mind a little bit about this Pokemon. So some pretty nice buffs around for the Stone Edge, and there's a slight nerf for Ancient Power, but I think all this is going to mean is that you need to be running an X speed now. So you're going to be needing to run the X speed rather than having the freedom to use the full heal. So I think the 1 second nerf is kind of annoying, but I don't think it's going to be massively impactful. Urshifu, nerf. Surging Strikes just for the water Urshifu. Urshifu Dark hasn't been touched. It doesn't need to be touched. He was kind of overrated from the beginning. He just had big Secure, and yeah, I didn't think... So Urshifu, I think, is sitting in a very healthy spot in the meta. His early game is not going to be as crazy, and look at that. That's actually what they say right here. The aim of this patch is to reduce the early game. If you notice, in lane, he was just a massive bully, so... I don't think he's going to be as strong in jungle now, and he needs jungle to operate as well as he does, so I think taking that away from him is going to make him not a very good pick, in my opinion, and I never really thought he's been that great of a pick, as is. Eldegoss, nerf. Cotton Guard. I feel like Cotton Guard has been a really amazing move since the game has come out, and it's picked up in popularity, and then now we're seeing a nerf. So, Trevenant. Trevenant has got a really unique buff for this patch. Woodhammer cooldown decrease by 1 second, but don't think of it as second, think of it as a percentage change. It's like Tyranitar going from 10 seconds to 11 seconds is not as big of a deal as this, from 6 to 5 seconds. This is a really big deal. Even though both of them are 1 second difference, when the cooldown is shorter, having that cooldown reduction by a whole fixed number is a bigger percentage, so that's a really big deal. Increased damage, really cool. It scales really nicely, which is great. And it also, the amount of HP that it costs you to deliver those hits has been reduced, which again, so you're dealing more damage and you're taking less in recoil. Pain Split has been buffed, which is great. All of this being said, though, with Trevenant, I still think that the other build is going to be better. I still think Curse and Hornleech is going to be better. They've tried to buff this build so many times. I don't really know. I just think Curse and Hornleech gives you so much sustain. The pushing and the CC with Hornleech is just incredible. So I still think if you're going to use Trevenant, then you're still going to want to use... the Curse/Leech build. In my opinion, I haven't played it yet, so I don't know, but I still think this is going to be the build to go with. Wigglytuff, this is awesome. This is so cool. Cooldown, reduction, massive on the Unite move. I think this is really cool. And also rollout, that shield lasts for a little bit longer, which is very nice. So, pretty cool. Wigglytuff Unite, I think it's because they've just seen its usage drop and maybe win percent not be as great. So this is just a buff to make the character, be picked a little more and shift the meta. So I like this one. This is a great altercation. Dragonite was due for a buff. Dragonite's in a really bad spot. Outrage buff. I still am not a big fan of Dragonite. I think even with this buff, Dragonite is still not a good pick. That being said, I should probably also say that for Wigglytuff, but I think Dragonite is also not a very good pick. Again, I haven't played it. I haven't played in this patch yet. I'm just having a look at the notes, and I'm hopefully going to get a chance to smash some gameplay out. But this, I'm not overly impressed with. This is probably my favorite one because I love Talonflame, but Talonflame has been in a little bit of an unplayable spot ever since they reworked the fly cooldown. And I've always thought Brave Bird's cooldown was way too long. And look at what they've done. They've reduced the cooldown of Brave Bird by 1.5 seconds. Now, I'm not a math teacher, but that's 15%. That's a really, really big decrease. Brave Bird also, if you're wondering how the Pokemon functions, it lowers the damage you take late game. So that's really, really good because you're going to be getting those Brave Birds off and the Aerial Ace resets. So you're going to be getting the healing from Aerial Ace. So this Pokemon is going to be an absolute force when played right. Maybe the Talonflame guide is going to be coming out. I think this is probably... Espeon's a winner, but this is definitely the second place winner. This is a really exciting buff. This is really, really cool. Zeraorc's been reworked. I shouldn't say reworked, but the attack stat has been changed a little bit. He sucks a little more from 1 to 5. But then from level 5 onwards, he gets better. So he's worse. And now he's better after that. Which doesn't really matter because you take him in the jungle anyway. And yeah. He's going to be good. I think it's exciting. I think it was due. He needed to do a little more damage. So I think that's a really, really fun change they've made. They've also changed they've buffed it, and they've also reduced the cooldown of his Unite move by quite a bit, which is really, really cool. And then wrapping up, we've got, this is really nice, we have got Spark. You'll increase responsiveness to your attack when you use it, so this is cool. I can't wait to try this out. I was hoping for a little bit more love for Zeraora, but I think it's really healthy because I don't think he needs anything more. I think people just need to learn how to play him a little better. Maybe the skill's getting, at a different level, or maybe the second skill at level 7 rather than level 8. Not sure, but I think this is cool to see, just a slight little buff, just a little change to see how he's going. So let me know what you're excited about. Let me know what change in the patch that you're the happiest about. Because I can tell you the one thing I'm absolutely happy about is the Talonflame change. I'm absolutely stoked about the Wigglytuff change. And I think I am also very happy about the Urshifu change. But we're going to have to wait and see how it pans out early game.